Please have a seat. Are y'all ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense is ready, Your Honor.
Okay. Counselor, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, we're going to read the indictment. This is in the District Court of Goliad County, Texas, 24th Judicial District, State of Texas versus Zeke Palacios. In the name and by the authority of the State of Texas, the grand jurors duly selected, organized, sworn, and impaneled as such for the County of Goliad, State of Texas, at the spring term 2018 of the District Court of said county, a quorum thereof being present upon their oaths presented, and do said court that on or about the 16th day of May 2018 in the county and state aforesaid, and interior to the presentation, I don't have my reading glasses on, to the presentation of the indictment, Zeke Palacios did then and there intentionally and knowingly operate a motor vehicle in a public place while he was intoxicated, and by reason of that intoxication caused the death of Nathan Oliver and Nicole Biddle by accident or mistake, by causing the vehicle being operated by said Zeke Palacios to collide with a vehicle occupied by the said Nathan Oliver and by the said Nicole Biddle. This is against the peace and dignity of the State of Texas.
Sir, remove your cover in the courtroom, please. Mr. Palacios, do you understand the charges against you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you also understand that you have a right to remain silent? That you don't have to say anything? You have the right to stop asking questions at any time? You have the right to have an attorney with you in the presence of the trial, in the presence of the sentencing, and you have a right to have the attorney with you during any questioning by any state officials. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Do you also understand that if you plead guilty to these charges, that is the strongest form of proof that I need in order to find you guilty? You're giving up the right to having confrontation by witnesses. You're giving up the right to be presented with evidence. You're giving up the right to confront those witnesses. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Have a seat, please. Prosecutor, you may commence, sir.
Your Honor, the defendant has not made a plea yet.
He has not made a plea?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Stand up, please, sir. Mr. Palacios, in the charges filed against you, how do you plead?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
You plead guilty to that. Do you understand that what you're doing by what I just explained to you, you understand what you're giving up, your rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you may have a seat then. All right, then is the state ready to proceed on punishment?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's ready.
Defense, are you ready?
Defense is ready, Your Honor.
Very well. State, you may proceed.
Your Honor, at this time we call Tiffany Allen to the stand.
Has she been previously sworn?
No, Your Honor, she has not.
Miss Allen, if you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Tiffany Allen,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will, I'm giving a re-enlistment oath here. Let me switch gears to that. The testimony you're about to give in this proceeding is the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
The testimony I...
No, I'm
Okay.
asking you the question.
Yes.
Have a seat, please.
Miss Allen, would you please state your name and the relationship to Noel?
Tiffany Allen, her mother.
And I want to paint a picture for the judge to understand how significant this is, since he's determining the sentencing. And so I want to go back and have you explain to the court a little bit about Tiffany as a child. Noel as a child. First question I have of you is Tiffany your oldest?
Yes.
And how old were you when Tiffany was born?
18.
And were you a single parent at the time?
Yes, I was.
And describe to the court how that was being a single newborn parent.
It was scary. I had never really been around young children until that point. I was optimistic because I was young and naive. It was hard, very tiring. I had to give up a lot, not only in my life, but to be with her because I had to work 2 jobs.
And let's talk a little bit about her elementary years. Where did she attend school in elementary?
At age 6 years old, we moved to Texas from Washington State. She attended kindergarten in Washington, and then from 1st through 5th grade, she was at a different school in Victoria every year.
So every year she had a different school she attended?
Yes, we moved, so the school district, it was a different school every year, every grade.
How would you describe Tiffany as a student in elementary?
Full of life, energetic, full of wonder, wanted to know everything about everything.
Was she
Very
a good
smart.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Very smart and eager to learn.
She made good grades?
Yes, always on a honor roll.
When she got to middle school, was she involved in extracurricular activities?
Yes, she was in volleyball, basketball, band, cheer.
And as she moved up to high school, did she continue to be involved in extracurricular activities?
Yes, she was involved in almost everything and anything you can be involved in. Student council, varsity cheer, band, went to the Rotary Club meetings. Anytime anybody needed any help with anything, she was right there, eager to do whatever they needed. As far as teaching the newcomers cheers to get ready for the tryouts, or making signs for some sort of event that was going on.
How would you describe your relationship with Noel?
We've always been very close because it was just her and I, and like my right hand. And thinking about not having her with me is is just devastating.
I'd like you to explain the emotion you felt when you found out Noelle had passed away.
Anger, confusion, hopelessness. I felt like I wanted to die.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I felt like I wanted to die.
I'd like you to explain to the court what was the emotion that you felt during the memorial service for your daughter?
Like a part of me had died. The nightmare had become a reality. What I thought once I would wake up from, I knew during that I would wake up from this. This is real.
I want to ask you to speak up just a little bit. I'd like you to explain to the court what you're feeling right now.
Scared. I'm just at a total loss of what to do and how to go on.
Have you given much thought to how you're going to carry your life forward from this point?
When I try to think about it, because we have a 6-year-old, I'm always constantly including her. And then it just hits me all over again that no, she is not coming back.
How do you think this is going to affect Christmas?
I'm sorry.
Take as much time as you need.
Her dad and I will have to be strong and go on for our other child. But we will not forget her.
How do you think it's going to affect Noelle's birthday?
It's just going to be like this big black hole, this big empty space.
That's all the questions I have of this witness, Your Honor.
Defense?
No questions, Your Honor.
No questions. Ms. Allen, you may step down from the witness stand. State, do you have someone else to bring in?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, we'd like to call to the stand Veronica Oliver.
Ms. Oliver, if you'll come to the stand, please.
Sorry about that.
If you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Take the stand, please.
For the record, would you please state your name and relationship to Nathan?
Veronica Fair, and I'm his mom.
I would like, for the benefit of the court, for you to give a big picture of what kind of person Nathan was. So I want to go back to the time he was born. What were you feeling when he was born?
Love. He was perfect. He was my everything. He was my everything. I lived and I breathed just for him.
He starts elementary, and what type of child was he in elementary?
Nathan was very particular, very quiet. He was not rambunctious. I wouldn't call him a silly boy. He was very patient, very honest. He wouldn't take a piece of candy without asking permission first. Just a sweet little boy.
And as he moves up to middle school, did he participate in some extracurricular activities?
Mm-hmm. He started playing football in the 7th grade and basketball. Those were his favorite sports. He was in the band where he played the drums. And he ran track for a little while. And he started teaching himself how to play the guitar.
And did he continue these activities when he got to high school?
He did. He loved football. He loved being with his teammates. He played basketball for a while, but his real passion was for theater and for playing his guitar.
How would you describe your relationship with Nathan and yourself?
He was easy to talk to. He would talk to me about everything. He was such a good big brother. He was more particular and more careful and looked over his little brothers almost to the point where I didn't have to. He was always worried about them. He was always worried about me. If I would go for a run or whatever, he would call me every 30 minutes to make sure that I was okay.
Would you tell the court what his dreams were after he graduated high school?
He's always wanted to go into law enforcement. I mean, since he was 5 or 6, he planned on going to Sam Houston State. And he knew he wanted to get a criminal justice degree, but his goals had kind of broadened a little bit. He had considered the FBI, the CIA. That's what he wanted to do.
Describe to the court the emotion you had when you found out Nathan had passed.
Disbelief. Not my son.
And what were your emotions when you were at his funeral?
numbness. I kept looking out at his friends, thinking that he should be sitting next to them.
What are your feelings about knowing that Nathan will never marry?
I haven't thought that far.
That he'll never have children?
I still can't. I still can't process that he's not here. He belongs here.
Thank you. That's all the questions I have of this witness.
Defense,
No questions, Your Honor.
you may step down, ma'am. State, do you have another witness?
No, Your Honor, the state rests.
The state rests. Defense, do you have witnesses?
Yes, we call the defendant to the stand. Go around that.
Flash, just raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you will give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have a seat in the witness box. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please state your name for the record.
Ezekiel Palacios.
And Mr. Palacios, you're going to have to speak up a little bit louder for the court reporter to
You can
hear.
move that microphone in front of you.
Yeah. Okay. And sir, how old are you?
17.
Okay. And did you grow up here in Goliad?
Yes, yes.
And you know why we're here today, right?
Yes, I do.
You know that you are guilty of the offense of intoxication manslaughter, right?
Yes.
And that because of your actions, 2 of your friends are dead, right?
I do, yes.
And the judge is here to decide what your punishment is going to be.
I understand.
Okay. So we're going to tell the judge a little bit about your thoughts on what's been going on, okay? All right. Did you know the 2 victims in this case?
Yes, I did.
You saw their moms testify here today?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything you want to tell them about what you did?
I would like to say that I'm sorry and I wish the family the best, and that I understand that my actions do have consequences.
Did you go out that day thinking that you were going to kill 2 of your friends?
No, sir.
Why did you even start drinking?
I just thought it was going to be a good time.
Are you having a good time now?
No, sir.
Now, you know the court can sentence you anywhere between 2 and 20 years in prison. You understand that?
Yes, I do.
You could be going to prison for longer than you've been alive. Why should the court not sentence you to 20 years in prison?
I honestly don't know.
I'm sorry, speak up.
I honestly don't know.
I'm sorry, I could not hear you. Say it again, please.
I honestly don't know.
You're not loud enough. I can't hear you.
You have to speak up louder, sir.
I do not know why they should not. Your Honor.
So you don't know why I shouldn't?
No, sir.
Okay. Carry on, sir.
Now, You've had some time to sit in jail and reflect on what's been going on. Have you had a chance to talk to your family about what you did?
No, sir. Not very much.
Because they limit your communication at the jail, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is the first time you've actually been locked up, right?
Yes, that's
Yep.
correct.
You have no record other than this charge, correct?
Correct.
Okay. If the judge were to grant leniency and give you on the lower end, and you're able to get out of prison someday, what would you want to do with your life?
Would try to move on and continue. Try to get a job. Maybe start a family. Maybe have kids.
If you have kids, what are you going to tell them about the temptation to drink and drive?
That it's the wrong choice. And you have to think before you act.
Now you see, there's a lot of people here in the courtroom, a lot of the community interested in what's going to happen in your case. Do you have anything to say to them about your actions?
I'm sorry for y'all's loss in the community. I'm very sorry.
We'll pass the witness.
Mr. Prosecutor?
Your Honor, the state has no cross-examination.
Okay. Any other questions? Redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Palacios, you may step down now, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Smith, anybody else?
No, Your Honor, the defense rests.
Your Honor, the state closes.
All right.
Have a seat.
You have closed.
Yeah, we're not going to have any rebuttal. We close the...
Okay. Do you have a closure?
No, I think, Your Honor, I think we'll be prepared for closing statements. I'll let the state go first.
Okay.
Your Honor, we can't bring back the deceased. We have two individuals that are not going to have any future. They've passed. Their families are going to be suffering from this for a long, long time. There's nothing good that's going to come out of this other than trying to prevent this from happening again. And the only way that can happen is during punishment. There needs to be a message sent that this kind of activity, this selfishness, this failure to understand they're getting behind a weapon when they get behind a wheel is the only thing we can try to do to salvage any kind of good out of this. The victims in this case have lost everything. No Christmases, no birthdays. Normally these occasions are for joy, and in this particular instance, these two families are going to have a cloud of sorrow that looms over them on every holiday, every family picnic. This young man is 17, and I know it sounds harsh to do 20 years, but when he gets out, he gets to rebuild his life. He can go to college. He can marry. He can have children. The victims in this case cannot do that. And to prevent more victims, I recommend the punishment has to be very harsh. I understand and appreciate the fact that he's taking responsibility by pleading guilty. I also think that the maximum is 20 years. The state would recommend that he receive 18 years. He gets 10% off for accepting the responsibility. But the message needs to be sent to this courtroom and everybody in our community that this kind of behavior, this selfishness, this irresponsibility, because once you have that first beer, you are not capable of driving a vehicle for an hour. And after you have the second, it just keeps getting worse and worse. And this community needs to understand the strong message we can send. And it's not the end of the world for the defendant. If he goes for 18 years, he'll be out when he's 35. He can go to college, like I've said. He can have a life. But the sorrow and the loss of these two families, and not just the parents, but the siblings and the cousins and the aunts and the uncles. There's a cloud on every occasion that is supposed to be joyous and full of fun and sharing. And that cloud will never go away for these families. So the state asks you to impose a sentence of 18 years. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the court does have a very difficult decision, and I would agree with the testimony of my client when he asked, was there any reason why he should not receive 20 years? And in one sense, there's not. There's no amount of jail time that's ever going to bring back the alleged victims in this case. There's no amount of jail time that's going to change what's happened. The decision you have to make, Judge, is what to do with this particular defendant in this situation. 17 years old, never been arrested before. First time being in the county jail. Think of the impact whenever he goes to prison. Even if it's just for 2 years, Judge, at his age, with the way our prison systems are now. If he could go and change anything, he would. He can't. Judge, you need to consider his potential future. His abilities to go to college eventually, his ability to give back to society. Maybe when he gets out of prison, be able to go and share with others about the mistakes he made so that nobody else will make that same mistake. I believe, Judge, when you saw him on the stand, you saw somebody who was genuinely repentant of their actions. He didn't come up here with any kind of excuses or anything else. He knows he's done wrong. He knows there needs to be consequences. We're here today asking for the mercy of the court, Your Honor, to have a lower jail sentence, Lord, for him, that even 2 years, even 4 years would have an impact that'll last for the rest of his life. Again, we ask for mercy from the court. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Are y'all both closed?
Yes, Your Honor. Can you stand up?
Mr. Palacios, you're 17 years old. In the criminal justice system, that makes you an adult. You have pleaded guilty to taking the lives of 2 of your classmates. The maximum punishment that I can lay on you at this time is 20 years. That's longer than you've been alive. It's good that you have accepted responsibility for your actions. It's good that you understand what you did was wrong. It's good that you have never been in trouble before. This was a mistake that you have made. but it was a horrible mistake. You took the lives of 2 innocent people that can never be brought back. And the message has to get out to every one of your classmates, every one of your peers, that all the decisions that you make at your age will affect you for the rest of your life. Good decisions or bad decisions will affect you for the rest of your life. By you pleading guilty to a felony charge, you have now lost your right to vote. One of the most basic rights that we as Americans can hold is have a say in our own government. And you've thrown that away because you did not know why you went out and did what you did. Because of this, Mr. Palacios, I will sentence you to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for them to house you at their choosing to a sentence of 12 years times 2 for both of those people that were killed, and for that sentence to run concurrent. The only reason you're not getting the maximum is because of your willingness to stand up and accept what you did, but you will pay a price for it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Trooper, if you will take the man into custody, please.
Hold out your arms.
And remand him into the custody of Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Court is adjourned.